I am Daniel Leakes, and welcome to Book 101. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. She's the author of the best selling memoir, Rising from Ashes, a testament of strength and survival after narcissistic abuse. No other than Miss Faith C. Echo.
Hello, hello.
Welcome to Book 101, Miss Faith, and can you please introduce yourself?
Thank you. My name is Faith. I have been a social worker for over 20 years, and I am a recovery coach for victims who have suffered from narcissistic abuse. I just wrote my memoir that is based on 4 years of a relationship I had with a malignant narcissist and how I was able to escape. I actually had to leave at 3 in the morning one night and just run for my life with my son. And it took me 2 years to write this book because I really, really need to share my story because there are so many women in particular who are going through the same thing that I went through. They are in toxic, abusive relationships with narcissists. And I want to educate them and help them learn how to recognize the red signs, to understand that it is not their fault. They are not the crazy ones. I want to help them have hope that there is a way to get out and be healthy and thrive after narcissistic abuse. I don't think that many people really know exactly what narcissistic personality disorder is. Um, I think we've all heard the term thrown out there, but people don't understand just how abusive it is. I mean, mentally, physically, spiritually, verbally, it goes so much deeper than that. So I am also educating the court systems and the law systems and just society in general so that they understand what narcissistic personality disorder is.
Thank you, Miss Faith, for sharing this memoir because for sure lots of women will empower. So, what age did you realize that you are good in writing?
I went to college and I studied writing. So I started at a young age just writing poetry, and then I just knew that I needed to write a book about my experience to get it out there. And it was nice, yes, to be able to write. And also at the same time, it was very re-triggering to have to go deep into these dark places again, but it was very healing and therapeutic. So, yes, since I was young, I realized that writing was a very um, like self-caring outlet for me.
It's in your DNA.
Exactly.
So,
It
Miss
is.
Faith, who are your favorite authors that influence you the most?
Oof, I love Wayne Dyer. He's a spiritual nonfiction writer. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us, but anything that he's written, I love Paulo Coelho. He wrote The Alchemist, amongst other books. Christiane Northrup. I could go on and on. I absolutely love books. And if you could see my house, it looks like a huge library.
Library.
Yes.
So, Miss Faith, if you describe the writings of your favorite authors, what is it or what are they?
My favorite things about my authors.
Yes.
I love the messages they send. They're very spiritual, deep messages that really make you think about life. And some of the descriptions in their writing, like the imagery, excuse me, is very, very vivid. So it just kind of takes you on a vacation away from your own brain and your own thoughts.
Yes. So, what are your short term and long term goals in writing?
I would love to write a workbook to go along with my book that I wrote. I would like to do some oracle cards as well to go along with them. And I am actually working on a children's book. So going in the complete opposite of my memoir, but it's also a book that I've had for a while in my brain. So I think that will be very enjoyable for children to read.
Yes, good luck for your goals, Miss Faith. And before we go on, I want to shout out my ranking tops in the last 30 days according to Apple chart, because in Uganda I got on the 13th spot on the Apple chart, Egypt at number 16, Spain at 21, Zambia at 26, Slovenia at 42, Qatar at 49, Nigeria at 56, Morocco at 68, Chile at 95, and I have a lot of places that I'm on the top 100. Of course, in Sri Lanka, I got on 45 spot.
Wow.
United Republic of Tanzania at 78. And of course, in Pakistan at 104, Zimbabwe at 146, Singapore at 154, Canada at 178, Belgium at 194, and Cambodia at 240, and a lot more. Thank you so much for supporting this podcast, because this podcast is created to empower writers all over the world like Miss Faith, the Echo.
Thank you. That's amazing. Congratulations. That's quite the accomplishment.
Thank you, Miss Faith, for rising from ashes, a testament of strength and survival after the narcissistic abuse. How did you crafted it?
I sat down one day and I just had bullet points of everything that I wanted to include, and I just got to work and didn't stop for 2 years.
Okay, so what behind the title of your memoir?
The title behind it, so Rising from Ashes, is just literally when you feel you can't go on anymore and you've just been destroyed, and you find the strength in yourself to rise above and find your voice again and be empowered and just keep going on a beautiful path towards an amazing life.
What challenges did you face while writing Rising from Ashes?
Well, definitely going back in detail to relive all the horrible traumatic moments. I got very re-triggered, but I knew that I had to like really put myself back mentally in that situation so that I could write this book with as much detail and information as possible. So sometimes, yes, I would have to step away from writing so that I could reprocess the trauma and come back. And honestly, I'm very technologically impaired. So there was a lot of frustration just trying to figure things out. And so that too was a challenge.
And congratulations, Miss Faith. You are number 19 in reference and collections of biographies according to Amazon.com. Number 44 in domestic partner abuse, and number 81 in divorce. So congratulations for being bestseller.
Thank you so much.
How do you feel your personal experiences have shaped your writing?
Well, definitely, I've written from what I know, what I've learned throughout my journeys, the people I've met. I feel like I had guardian angels helping me through all this, so it just really gave me the pathway to write as much as I could and as best as I could about narcissistic personality disorder.
I like the cover of your book. It's like a wings of an
Yeah,
angel.
yes, thank you. And she's rising from destruction, and you can see the ashes, but you see the sunset in the future, and she knows she's going to survive and get there to that beautiful place.
Definitely. And according to Miss Amy Patty Cavlin, emotionally moving and packed with insightful information. Can you give us this a little bit insightful information that you shared in the book?
So, information, it tells you exactly what narcissists are about. It tells you that domestic violence is not just physical, it is now included as coercive control in the court systems, which makes it possible for women to be able to get restraining orders from this coercive control. It tells about Jennifer's Law and how that came into effect in honor of two women, both named Jennifer, how they were murdered at the hands of their abusive partners. It tells you the terminology for the words that narcissists use and what the different stages of narcissistic abuse are. It tells about what kind of therapy helps, like EMDR and cognitive behavior therapy. It shares things with domestic violence shelters and what to do if women need to get out in a hurry, how to do it in a safe way. It tells about the rights women have when it comes to their children and the statistics of domestic violence. And it's packed with information. I feel like after people read my book, they feel like they will have gotten their PhD in narcissistic personality abuse.
Rising from Ashes is a book to empower women. Tips how to empower women.
Tips on how to empower women. Never compromise yourself. Always believe in yourself and follow your intuition and love yourself. Know your worth. Know that it is your God-given right to live happy and peaceful lives. And as soon as you start to see red flags of somebody abusing you, just go in the opposite direction, because we are worthy and we don't need anybody else to prove our worth or define who we are and destroy our self-esteem. We are way stronger than we know. And when it comes time to fight, especially for our children, we need to protect them and not stay in relationships because of the children. We need to leave because of our children's well-being.
Very well said, Miss Faith. So, how do you deal with your writer's block?
Writer's block, that's a good one. I give myself grace and patience to, if I need to take a couple of days off, I do. Or I read other authors' writers, and that sort of other authors' writing, sorry, and that like inspires me. Or I'll also do just freestyle writing, where I just literally grab a notepad and a pen and I just start writing whatever comes to my mind. And usually my focus comes back around to being inspired to write.
What's your daily writing routine like?
So I get up in the morning and I have a cup of coffee and I'll sit at the computer and start writing. And even if I'm just staring at a blank screen, I just try to write at least an hour a day. Sometimes like hours and hours will go by and I'll be like, wow, I've been at the computer for 7 hours. And then sometimes it's only 10 minutes, but just to try to write at least a little bit every day. I think mainly my inspiring time to write is at night. But I try to just start my day by writing, even if it's 10 minutes.
Rising from Ashes, what's one theme or message you hope readers will take away from your book?
To know that narcissistic personality disorder is real and it causes extreme mental and emotional and physical damage. And I just want to spread the word. And June 1st is National Awareness Day for Narcissistic Abuse. And there are support groups for this, which shows you how bad this illness truly is.
Yes, indeed. So, how do you handle criticism, both constructive and negative?
I appreciate all kinds of criticism, constructive stuff, so that I know what works and what doesn't for my readers, how to engage readers better, and to write more books, keeping in mind some of the constructive criticism I may have received. I think it's very helpful.
Do you have any advice for aspiring writers out there?
Yes, just try to write as much as you can every day. Definitely get your story out there, because if you have a story that needs to be told, absolutely tell it. There are some self-publishing schools out there that really, really do help. There are websites, there are great podcasts that give a lot of great tips on how to begin writing books. I highly recommend them.
Definitely, people, stop procrastinating. If you
Yeah,
have the if you have the passion of writing, write.
exactly.
Share to the world so that people may read it. Who knows? You are the best in the making. Like Miss Faith C. Echo. Now he's a best-selling author. Miss Faith, before we go on, I'm inviting you to listen to my other podcast, Food 101, our third season with Chef Alessandro, one of the best executive chef in one of the best five-star restaurant in downtown Toronto. Please do listen to our latest episode. We talk about personal hygiene in the kitchen, people, to make your food safe from people eating it. So please do listen. Food 101, and our books are out, not only one but 12 volumes. People, Food 101 volume 1 basics until 12 is only the books that you need how to create a delicious food, available on Amazon and leading online bookstores worldwide. Plus, my upcoming podcast, Sex 101, people. We're gonna talk about sex and relationship, of course, narcissistic abuse, as Miss Faith talking about this coming November 30. Miss Faith, I'm inviting you to be my guest on my Sex 101, and let's talk about relationships, how we let it go of relationships, and many more.
Sounds
And
fantastic. Absolutely.
let's promote your books over there. What's the most rewarding aspect of being an author?
Being able to have the platform to share my story and validation, like knowing that I wasn't alone and to let other women know they are not alone. And if I can help, just even if it's one person, heal and thrive and get out of a narcissistically abusive relationship, then that has been the biggest privilege by far.
Definitely. How has the publishing process been for you?
It hasn't been hard. I mean, I've definitely been learning a lot. I've been working with a self-publishing school, and they have been amazing. Like, they have guided me, they've given me advice, and they've also taught me so that I can know how to do these things in the future. So self-publishing school has been amazing.
Are you an independent or traditional publishing?
Independent.
So, what are the pros and cons of being in the author?
So being independent, you remain in control of your book, like creatively. Um, you get the royalties, you get the rights of your book. Versus traditional, they take a big portion of your book, the income, and you don't really have as much of the creative control as you do in self publishing.
Yes, definitely. Miss Faith, if you go back and give advice to yourself when you're first starting out as a writer, what would it be?
It would be trust the process, be patient with yourself, try not to get frustrated. Definitely learn more about technology so that I'm not so frustrated with like just different aspects of even printing and all of that. And just keep going. Have faith in yourself. You've got this and you're going to make an impact. So keep going.
Yes, people, keep going. And as I said, stop procrastinating.
Exactly.
Are you planning to have an audiobook for this memoir?
Absolutely. That will be
Oh,
the next step. Absolutely.
where can our listeners find more about you and your work?
So my book is out on Amazon. The ebook comes out on January 8th, and then I will keep everybody updated on when the audiobook is out. People can also reach out to me via email if they would like to. My email is faithcecho@gmail.com.
Yes, people, let's support Miss Facey Echo. Because if you support her, more books to come.
Right, right.
Def- Definitely. Let's inspire author, let's inspire women are all over the world. I read this book by Kara Cooney, When Women Rules the World, Six Queens of Egypt. The Egyptian world or Egyptian reign, woman reigns supreme. In the 21st century, how would women reign?
By telling their stories, by letting their voices be heard, by having faith in themselves and not letting anything get in the way of their dreams and their message.
Definitely. Very well said, Miss Faith. And what inspired you to become an author?
Like I said, I always just loved writing. I love, love, love reading. My mother actually has been a writer her entire life. And then I just had a calling with this particular book to just get my message across. And so I think that was the major leap was to share my experience that I went through for the last 4 years.
What role social media and online platforms play in your writing career?
Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, podcasts for sure have definitely helped. So just trying to get as much exposure out there to spread the word.
Yes, and according to my analytics, Miss Faith, I got 145 countries listening to me. So
Wow.
podcast is if you want to explore more, please do guest on lots of podcasts. So Miss Faith, how do you think publishing industry is changing?
I think more and more people are starting to self publish. I really think that's the way the journey's going. I mean, maybe even traditional publishing companies one day just won't be a thing because it's so easy now to self publish your book.
Definitely. How do you balance writing with the other aspect of your life?
I try to make a conscious effort to allow time to spend with my children, time to spend with my clients, time to also practice self care like yoga and meditation, and then definitely to set time to write as well.
What is the research process of rising from ashes?
Like I said, I've been a social worker for 20 years. And I've worked with clients who have suffered from this. And then after my own experience, I just really dove into the research process. I mean, books I read, blogs I read, podcasts I read, talking to other people who have gone through it, like just thoroughly, thoroughly researched everything about it.
Yes. Congratulations again, Miss Faith. And can you please invite our listeners to support Rising from Ashes?
I would absolutely love for as many people as possible to buy my book. It's has knowledge that could be extremely, extremely helpful to recognize who narcissists are, to recognize the signs of abusive relationships, and to be able to just get the word out there to as many people as we can because narcissistic personality is so much more than just arrogance and conceited people. Like it's deadly. Like literally these relationships can end in death, which is very scary, and it's just urgent more than ever now to educate people about narcissists.
Definitely, people. Let's empower women all over the world.
Yes.
So, Miss Faith, if you give adjectives of Rising from Ashes, what is it?
I would say it's very empowering. I think it's very honest. It's very informational, and it's got a lot of resources to help.
Yes, people rising from ashes as testament of strength and survival after the narcissistic abuse. It's something else that we need to spread out because it gives love, empower women to be strong, to fight for their own rights.
Absolutely.
Miss Faith, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
But thank you so much for being the number two of the 100 best book podcasts on the planet and number one in the art book category. Thank you so much. Bodycon people, see you soon.